Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Whitetails Dynasty after Season 3. Man, what an improvement we've made from Year 1 to Year 3. This year, we go 8-4, and we will be reviewing the season as a whole in this episode and looking at a bowl preview here, as we actually finished second in our division in the conference behind only Navy. Navy had an opportunity to lose a couple of games here at the end, but taking a look, I mean, they went on a 4-game winning streak to end the season and effectively ending our bid to the conference championship. And in the conference championship, they will be playing the winner from the East, which is Rutgers. And remember, Rutgers got demoted, and I thought that they were actually headed to kind of stay in the division, but it looks like they're going to get promoted once again back to the Big Ten, as they will face Navy, number 10 in the nation. So let's look at the stats on the season. Adam Miller missed most of the season, 8 games, and he came back and actually threw the ball pretty well when he got in. 3 touchdowns, 91 yards, but Beaver pretty much showed me some things this season. He threw the ball well, 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And Bo Bridges, when he got in, well, it wasn't that pretty. He threw 4 interceptions and only 1 touchdown, as our running game definitely took a step up this season. Jabari Blaze, well, he showed that his spot is back. 6 touchdowns, 800 yards. I initially started Jacoby Beck, but he got hurt in the beginning of the season, and he just didn't take the reins back here. He ran for 5 touchdowns, but only 260 yards. He actually played a pretty good role as that kind of third down back, but Blaze showed that he can receive as well. And through the air, well, Yarbrough didn't have the season that he's used to having, but he caught 3 touchdowns, actually led our team in yards, I believe, by about 10. And just looking at Brett Hill, the new, slot receiver on this team, he scored 7 touchdowns, had a lot of yards after the catch, and I gotta admit, seeing him and adding another receiver in the slot besides Yarbrough to take pressure off him, I think he definitely exceeded expectation there. Chris Coretta didn't have a great season that he's always used to having. Look at last year, 1,100 yards. He definitely took a step back, but a lot of that production came from Brett Hill, took away some offense from him. Doug Johnson, in his first year coming back as a full-time receiver. Last season, he didn't even have any stats on the offensive side because he didn't need to play offense. But this year, he was back, and he pretty much went back to form what he was in Season 1. Pretty comparable numbers here. He had a 75-yard reception as well, that long one from Beaver, I believe that was, and I think he played pretty well. He's going into his senior season. He's definitely still going to be the starter. Rodney Ross had a good season as well, and just looking at what he did in his first season, 542 yards and now 411, so he at least improved from Season 2. Definitely didn't have the yards production or the touchdowns, but definitely pretty good because we had a lot of receivers to give the ball to, and that's what I liked. Jabari Blaze had more receptions than Jacoby Beck, which I did not see coming. As you can see, Javon Oliver even had a touchdown as well, and then some young guys who got in a little bit. Beaver actually had a touchdown at receiver, and I think Beaver's going to play all over next season. I don't know where he's going to land, but I think he had a good season. So looking at the defensive side of the ball, Derek and Pinto had a 2-sack game in the beginning of the season, but then he kind of slowed down. We ended up leading our team in sacks with 4, but we actually had more sacks total than last season. Marvin Woods was second with 4, but then it kind of dips down here as, the rest of our pass rushers didn't really do anything. Tucker Okonkwo only played in about 3/4 of the season, but he only ended up with 1 sack, but I gotta admit, Marvin Woods had a great season, 12 tackles for loss, and he had 55 total tackles. Cam Duvano, the freshman, he had a pass deflection, 2 interceptions. He's actually pretty good. He's not good in coverage, but I'd say that, he played a lot better than his ratings. He's a good tackler, and that's kind of what we wanted to use him for, and he actually played pretty well. He had 7 tackles for loss since coming in as a starter. about 3 games into the season. Shaq Royal actually had a good year as well, and this was actually one of his better years to me. He had more sacks in season 1, but I think that, he was taking up double teams and taking on blocks that he really wasn't doing in his first season. So, I'm pretty happy about the sophomore. I'm excited what him and Derek and Pinto are going to do in their junior seasons. Looking at James Chaney, though, one thing about him is that he is kind of that cleanup guy, and I want to see him flash more. He is our second middle linebacker on the depth chart, so he's in quite a bit next to Marvin Woods, but I definitely want to see some improvement there. Now let's look at kind of our cornerbacks here, as Quintaris Jones actually had 3 pass deflections. I actually was looking for him to have more interceptions. He only had 1 this year, and he's basically in one-on-one coverage on the left side of the field, whether that's in zone or in man. And I'm curious to know if we were to put somebody else out there, if we'd see more of a difference. But he actually did have 3 pass deflections that led our team, so I'm not going to complain too much. Elgin Lloyd, nobody threw to his side, and that is remarkable because he had 24 tackles, 3 assisted, 2 interceptions, a pass deflection, and even a forced fumble. I think he had a great year on the right side of our defense, and I actually am really encouraged by him. Zane Alexander. So let's talk about Zane Alexander. So he had 3 interceptions, led our team. He had a sack. He had a pass deflection. He was all over in his freshman season. He's our best man cover corner at 80 man, but his zone is lacking. But I really like what he brought to the defense this season. Ryan Robinson. I want to talk about Ryan Robinson. He had an amazing freshman season. And I think that, he definitely got better this season. 46 tackles, more tackles than last year, and a sack, an interception. He's just all over the field. And I'm actually excited for his future on this defense going into his junior season. He's definitely still the starter. I sent him on more blitzes this year, but it didn't really, affect his sack column too much. But I'm definitely encouraged. Now, Nathan Beaver has some defensive prowess to his game. Remember, he played both sides of the ball in high school, and I'm definitely going to be looking for him to play some safety next season, because right now you can't see his ratings. Let's just go over to his real stats here. But just looking at him, he's just a really good guy here, his attributes I meant, but he's just a really good guy on both sides of the ball. I think if we changed him over, he would actually be a higher rated safety than he would as a quarterback. Looking at this, his hit power rating is at 83, tackling at 76. Even Adam Miller is a good tackler at 72. But looking at him, he's pretty good. Man coverage is 68, zone is 73, but he's a really good tackler, and his zone isn't bad. You just compare that to Cam Duvano, who is kind of playing free safety for us. His zone is at 57. So I definitely want to see some kind of zone coverage from him next season, probably playing a lot more safety. Eddie McMahon, who definitely lost his spot, and I don't know if he's going to get it back, because I'm going to play Beaver next year. His awareness is high, but it seemed like he didn't make any high IQ plays this season. Definitely was missing too many tackles. Let's see what his tackling's even at. I believe it's over here. Let's see. Oh no, it's over this direction. But he definitely lost his spot due to his inability to tackle. He only has 69 tackling, and I definitely wanted to see more from him. So Beaver might actually end up being kind of a rotational safety along with Cam Duvano. Depending on the formation, I might have all 3 on the field, with Cam Duvano kind of playing more in the box, more as like a sub linebacker. He's got good awareness, which is something I really like. It's at 82. So he's definitely improved in that column as well. And just looking at, kind of how our awareness looks on the team, we have some high IQ guys, including Adam Miller, 89 awareness, which I like. It helps him with his accuracy. And Duvano's the highest rated as far as starters go. He's the highest rated in awareness at 82. And then Quintaris Jones is not too far behind, 81. So I do want to highlight Marquette's season, and because this was the team we brought in with us, and they have had a similar season to us, 8-4. They actually lost 3 conference games, but take a look. Colbert in his senior year threw for 34 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Wow, what a season from him. And look at Warwick, 17 touchdowns receiving. That is just ridiculous. And 1,200 yards. Let's look a little closely. So wow, Preston Warrick gets 17 total touchdowns. And I'm definitely thinking about going after him in my Madden franchise with the Lions next draft. It's going to be fun to see. I'm going to carry over some of these guys since now these guys have some meaning in this series. Definitely going to be starting seeing them in the Lions franchise as well. But wow, Warrick actually wins an award. We'll have to see what award he won there. I think it's best receiver. But let's check it out. So Holton Ahlers wins the Maxwell. Wow, let's see what he did. Threw for 35 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And it looks like he ran for 671 and 8 touchdowns. So, wow, the dual threat guy wins it there. James Cook wins the Walter Camp. 1,800 yards, 18 total touchdowns. Let's see if there's other guys that we may recognize here that won an award. Yeah, so Preston Warrick wins the Biletnikoff Award. So he did score 17 total touchdowns, 1,200 yards. What a game, or what a season from him. Let's see if anybody else maybe was even considered in any of these awards. I don't think we had anybody. Nope, we didn't. So we do have 2 freshman All-Americans though. Zane Alexander wins it at corner, the number 1 corner, and Cam Duvano takes it at strong safety. So our first freshman All-Americans here in this dynasty, and actually Marlon Yarbrough I think won it as well as a freshman, so pretty good to see that there. Let's just look at the All-American Conference, see if we had any first teamers. So no, we don't have any on offense, but we do have a couple on defense. Marvin Woods wins it, and then Cam Duvano wins it for our defense. And I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of second teamers, but none on offense. Wow, so no guys on offense on either first or second, but Ryan Robinson is second team, and our kicker Gerard Bryant is also on second team as well. The Heisman winner is James Cook III, so he ends up taking it. 1,800 yards in his first year starting, 18 touchdowns, and he is 96 overall. I wonder if he is going to declare for the draft. He's definitely got the skills. We'll have to see. And then let's look at the rest of the guys here. Maurice Washington, who we faced earlier, he ran for 1,319 touchdowns. Wow, what a big season from him. Even a fullback made it. How did he make it? Oh, he ran for 1,400 yards, 21 touchdowns. Wow, he had 19 the year before and then 21 this year. That's amazing for a fullback. So let's take a look at the top 25 going into bowl week. Auburn is 13-0, and look at the SEC championship. They blew out Florida 37-7. Wow. I don't know what Florida was ranked, but they must have been 2 because now they're 12-1. And wow, they move all the way down to 5. Maybe if they would have made that a close game, they still would have been 1-2. It would have been a rematch. Because I had that actually happen between Georgia and Alabama in a previous dynasty with the San Jose State Spartans, and wow, they dropped all the way to 5. Look at Ohio though, they're number 7 in the nation at 12-1. And let's just see some other guys here. So Navy must have lost. Oh yeah, they did. Look at this, they dropped down to number 17. They lost to Rutgers. So Rutgers and both Navy are going to get promoted into the Big Ten next year. I'm gonna make it so that we get a little more competition. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, and I don't know what I'm gonna do there with our conference. I'm gonna add some more competition. I just don't know who yet. So yeah, Michigan State and Auburn are going to play for the national championship. Let's just look at the other ones. I do not have any bowl tie-ins at all. I eliminated that. So Ohio is playing Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. That's gonna be pretty fun for them. Let's see where we are, and we are going to be playing Minnesota once again. 8-4 versus 8-4. We're going to be playing another Big Ten team for our first bowl game in this series. You can just see the matchup, and Kirk is rolling with the Gophers in this one, so hopefully we can come away with the victory. We'll have to take a look at that Minnesota team. I want to see where Marquette ended up playing. Oh, they're playing USC, number 23, so that's pretty funny. We play number 24, they play number 23. I'm interested to see. Oh, Kirk is going with Marquette in this game. Marquette puts up numbers. I mean, look at that. The number 1 passing offense. They're going to look a lot different next season because they're losing 2 senior quarterbacks, but I'm excited to see. I might actually watch this game to see how that ends up turning out for them. So I do just want to take a look at Minnesota. We played Annexstad before, and he is back for his senior season. 2,500 yards comparable to last year. Pretty much the same type of numbers here. 2,500 yards, 26 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Last year when we played him, he had the same stats, 26 to 10 interceptions. Then they have Bryce Williams at running back now. I don't remember Bryce Williams. Yeah, it is his first year starting. He ran for 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. Then their backup here, Ibrahim, who was their starter last year? Yeah. So, wow. I don't know how he lost his spot. Oh, maybe it was just a progression or Bryce Williams was hurt last year. But look at the year that Ibrahim had last year. 2,200 yards, 22 touchdowns. Wow. So he will not be their starter. Bryce Williams will be. And then they have a bunch of seniors at receiver. So they're definitely going to be rebuilding next year. Actually, they have some pretty good, well, I don't know, I guess not. They don't have other receivers listed here that pretty much aren't seniors. They have one junior here in Jornell Mans. And wow, they spread the ball around quite a bit, but it's an all-senior team here, so they're definitely going to be rebuilding next year. Let's just look at their leaders on defense, who we will have to look out for. Looks like Boye Mafe, who was there last year. He was their right end, and he was their leader, and it looks like he definitely took a step back. 7.5 sacks last year, 5.5 this season. And let's just take a look at anybody else that we have to look out for. Maybe in their secondary. Let's see who's leading their team in interceptions. Braylon Oliver, 81 overall, left outside linebacker. I couldn't imagine him. I don't know how he's leading their team in interceptions. He must be playing a lot in coverage. Let's see his zone coverage rating. It's only 73 and 74, man. So I don't know how he ended up leading their team. But then looking at their cornerbacks, 2 each, 86 overall and 84 overall. So we will have our work cut out here in this game in the rematch versus Minnesota. They definitely want that revenge because remember last year we ended up beating them. So that is going to do it here in this episode. I just wanted to kind of recap the season. I don't know where this bowl game is actually going to be played at. So I'm guessing it's going to be a neutral site. If not, we'll probably be at Minnesota. I guess we'll have to see. And one thing I forgot to mention is that we actually won Coach of the Year. So we actually got Coach of the Year because the expectations coming into this season as literally coming off of one of the worst seasons in history in season 1-12, I believe, 1-11, wherever we were. And then we ended up turning it around, getting 4 wins last year. We got 5 wins last year. And then actually, coming in and going 8-4 this year. What a turnaround that was. So looking at the comparison, this is going to be a good game, and they are a top 25 team, and we will need to be on our game here if we do want to beat them. As look at the losses that they have. I mean, they have all tough losses. Northwestern, who's top 25, at Ohio State. That's always a tough game. And then Michigan State, who's in the national championship. And then they did lose a bad one here to Maryland, who's 6-6. They lost to them at home. So they're definitely going to want to be coming off of, a couple of, bad losses here from Terp and also Michigan State. They pretty much lost by 3 scores in that game. So this is going to be a tough game for us, but I'm up for the challenge. We'll see what the offense looks like. The bowl game offense definitely is going to look different. I want to see what these guys got, and we have to come out of here with a victory in our first bowl game ever. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.